Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to do a review for a collection of movies I got from sloppy second sales of the Guinea Pig franchise. And growing up, I'd only seen Flowers of Flesh and Blood and liked it for just how insane it was, gore wise and special effect wise, and all that, and the notoriety of it. But by the time I wanted to get them all, the box set was long out of print, hundreds of dollars, and just never got around to watching them because I never had a physical copy, and I don't really download movies online or anything like that, so I just never got a chance to check them out. And I was browsing Sloppy Second Sales site, buying a couple things. And for the record, this is a bootleg. Sloppy Second Sales is a site where they sell bootlegs of movies that are out of print or only streaming or whatever. They don't sell movies that have physical, legit copies. So if you want something that's out of print, hard to get, good chance Sloppy Second Sales will have it. Ranging from the Texas Chainsaw on Netflix and Star Wars on Disney Plus to like gore films like this, a lot of Asian titles, a lot of anime, stuff like that. So I highly recommend Sloppy Second Sales if you want stuff like that. But yeah, these are all 6 films plus the 2 making of documentaries on one collection here. And I think it was like, I want to say $15, maybe even less than that. I think it is less than that. I don't remember what it was, but it is 15 or less, and comes in this black case. You know what I mean? All the titles there, pretty basic, bare bones. But quick review of all the movies and my ranking of them is essentially the first one, The Devil's Experiment, is a fake snuff film. This lady gets abducted and they start just kind of experimenting on her, like through sound and burning and poking things through her eyeball and stuff like that. So there is some okay gore in it and stuff, but to me, it's actually my least favorite one out of all of them. And I know that's blasphemy to a lot of people because Devil's Experiment and Flower, Flesh, and Blood are people's favorites because it's the fake snuff. But to me, it's the most boring. It's not that great to me. But if you're into fake snuff film and just want it for the shock value of it, then you'll probably like Devil's Experiment. It's kind of like Bloodshot if you've seen the American Guinea Pig films. But the second one was Flowers of Flesh and Blood, and that's obviously the most famous one because it's the one that tricked Charlie Sheen, and there's a bunch of history on that if you want to look it up. I'm not going to go into all that, but it's the most brutal out of all of them, I'd say, like torture-wise. Essentially, another woman gets abducted by a super fan of, because these are all created by Hideshi Hino, who's a horror manga artist over there, akin to like Junji Ito or something. But I'd say he's actually better than Junji Ito. But so this is all based on manga, essentially horror manga. So that's the feel. The first 2 are just brutal torture, whatever. But Flowers of Flesh and Blood, dude, is a super fan of Hideshi Hino, and he murdered this lady and chops her up and sends a videotape to Hideshi Hino, and what you're seeing is essentially the videotape that was supposedly sent to him of this fan torturing this lady and essentially just slowly dismembering her, chopping her arms off and all the limbs and the head and all that. It's really brutal. And if you did see this in the 80s on some shitty VHS, I'm sure you would think it was a real snuff, but it holds up. It's brutal. But where would this rank? It would probably be my 3rd favorite because there's 2 I like better than this one, but just for the gore effects alone and the vibe of this one, I really like the look of the dude in the samurai outfit that's doing the killing and stuff. It's my 3rd favorite one, and it's definitely worth the notoriety and worth it for this collection alone. And then the 3rd one is He Never Dies, which is actually my 2nd favorite one out of this whole collection. It's amps the goofy up. It's brutal though. Like the effects where the dude, so essentially guy goes to kill himself, slit his wrist. He finds out he can't die. Doesn't feel pain. The bleeding stops after a little bit, and it's then he just starts cutting himself up and trying to cut his head off, and then he invites his friend over to watch what is going on, and he starts ripping his guts out and all stuff like that. And it was a brutal movie, but it had the humor in it, and I really liked the vibe of it, and it had that manga feel to it that I liked a lot, and it was my 2nd favorite one. And I definitely recommend that one too. And these are only like 45, 50 minutes long, each one of them. So I just binged all these in 2 days. And the only long one is the last one, which I'll get to. But the fourth one, Devil Woman Doctor, is another. It's pretty cool. It's probably, I like it. It ranks below Flowers and Flesh and Blood, so it's my fourth favorite. And essentially, this one is like this like Asian tranny lady. She's almost, it feels like Faces of Death, but done in a goofy, hyper gory way, but narrated by a tranny instead of a doctor. Because it's essentially this lady or this tranny. She's bringing you through these different scenarios. Or family is like this one family. If they get mad, their heads explode. And then another guy's like a Yakuza who has a tumor with a talking face on it. And it's just hyper ridiculous, just splatter, super gory, but just the silliness is amped up to the extreme. And I really dug it. The effects do take a dip in quality to it. That's the only reason it's below Flower, Flesh, and Blood. But I like the vibe of it. It was just silly and felt like the manga. And people that talk shit about that one, I don't understand it, because it was just a really fun movie and it had the nostalgia feel. Because I watch a lot of Asian movies from the mid 80s, and it felt super low budget, nostalgic to me. And I really dug Devil Woman Doctor. It almost felt like they were trying to make Guinea Pig kiddish, but it was still hyper gory and brutal. Like there's a dude with a penis that stretches out to crazy lengths. It's just batshit insane, but it had such a silliness, almost like Nickelodeon quality to it. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but it was a fun one. And then the fifth one, Android of Notre Dame. I thought this one was a stinker. It's only above Devil's Experiment because it had a little bit more to it than Devil's Experiment, but I didn't think the effects were as good. The story was kind of boring. I didn't like the overall aesthetic or vibe of it. I didn't really think it fit the Guinea Pig franchise, really. It was just kind of boring. Essentially, it's like a Frankenstein story. This midget doctor dude's trying to help his sister or something like that, if I remember right. And this guy calls him with a body to experiment on. And it was kind of dull. It was just, I'd skip. That's the only one I would say. No, that one and Devil's Experiment, I'd say skip. But everyone loves Devil's Experiment for some reason. So you probably got to check it out just for the word alone of all these people. But the last one, Mermaid in a Manhole, that to me is the crown jewel of this whole series of films here. It's the hour and 20 minutes long. It's the longest, and it's the only other one directed by Hideshi Hino himself, because he directed Flowers of Flesh and Blood, and then this was the last one he directed. And you could just tell there's more skill put into it. This guy, he plays a painter, who's looking in the sewers, and he finds this mermaid that he saw as a kid or something. And this mermaid he finds in the sewer brings her home, and it's like his destiny to paint this mermaid. So she's just chilling in his bathtub while he's painting, and she has this disease that's like slowly rotting her flesh, and all these big boils and shit start growing on her chest and her body, and they start oozing pus and colors for him to paint with. And it's the most disgusting guinea pig film to me, but that's kind of what makes it the best. The effects, I think, are the best out of all of them, only matched by Flower of Flesh and Blood, but it's a different kind of effects. They're more like gooey, gross, moldy, just disgusting effects, which I like better. And only a little bit more story. It's not like there's a whole lot of story, but enough to where it made it the best one. And the ending, I thought, was really dope. It was a twist ending that I really worked for me. Just the idea, the thought, the gore, everything about it made this one the best one. So if this thing, I want to say this thing was actually $12.99 for this, but definitely worth the price alone just for Mermaid in a Manhole itself. So adding He Never Dies, Flower, Flesh and Blood, and Devil Doctor Woman, I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. So if you feel like watching these films, I would highly recommend going to Sloppy's second sales. Really good bootleg of it. Comes with a case, artwork, and the disc, I think it just says Sloppy Second Sales on it, but quality of them all were just as good as the Unearthed Films box set, because I think on the site it even says they're rips from that set or something. So I don't even think they're rips from the internet, but I could be wrong from that. I don't know. But quality was just as good as I would expect from any of the DVD releases of it. You'll probably never get these on actual Blu-ray because they were direct-to-video movies from, I'm pretty sure this was Japan, but yeah, direct-to-video movies from Japan from the early or mid to late 80s. And I think the rights are all tied up. That's why we won't get another legit set, at least for the foreseeable future. And when they do release one, I'll definitely fork out the money to buy one. I'm just not paying hundreds for a DVD set of this. So this will do me just fine until that ever comes out, if it ever does. And I know these get a bad rap for just being brutal nonsense movies, but if you love just practical effects, I highly recommend these. I think whoever does the effects in these is just as good as Tom Savini, if not better. Like, the effects in this are some of the best I've ever seen, 100% practical. And there's way more to it than just shock value because the effects are absolutely insane. Just a mermaid in a manhole, flowers of flesh and blood, and he never dies. Those three in particular, like, you could fill in a whole and make a movie just full of gore reels. And to me, it's almost like good background viewing if you're playing video games or painting or writing music, whatever you're doing. I think if you're into that vibe, obviously, it's just cool ass imagery to put up in the background of something. So I highly recommend this if you're ever on sloppy second sales or whatever, if you just want to look them up on YouTube or wherever they are. Anyways, guys, peace.